And we're recording.
And we're recording. I see the recording
Yeah,
button right there. So I know you're not lying to me.
I'm not lying. We're recording and we're after showing.
Yeah. We are after showing, but this is actually our first foray, if you will, into this.
Yeah.
So giving it up right away. But this is the first attempt really during this quarantine. And it's crazy because we've been in this for over a month now.
Yeah.
Right? Well over a month at this point.
Super weird.
And I feel like everyone's just been there's like no other news other than this.
Yeah.
Like this is it. This is everywhere you turn. Like it's all about because it's just so like when you're home. But if you go out to places, just to a supermarket or wherever, it's it's all related to this, right? Because everyone's standing a certain amount. They're standing 6 feet apart. They're letting in only a certain amount of people at a time. You go to like a Trader Joe's or a Costco, and like you have to they let in I was at Trader Joe's where they let in 20 people at a time.
Mm,
So you're really like it's and then face masks of course too,
sure.
which when this first started, I feel like it wasn't as much of the face masks. It was more like I feel like it was more Purell. Everyone was like, gotta have hand sanitizer, gotta have hand sanitizer.
Right.
Now I feel like it's sort of shifted into where like that stuff's still there, but now everyone's like, well, it's actually the face mask that's the most important. So now you see
Hmm.
everyone with a face mask to the point when you're outside and you don't see someone, or you see someone that doesn't have a face mask, you're like, what's going on? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
There's like a little bit of, I don't know how you describe it, but it's just distrusting looks that you give to those people that are like, why are you not wearing a mask right now? What the hell
Yeah,
are you doing out here? Go put a mask on.
I will say if there was ever a great time to be in the suburbs, it's right now
Oh, yeah, I'm
because
sure.
it's nice. It's just nice not to see all of it. It's just that it's nice not to see this because even when you're out in just out about town anywhere,
Hmm.
there's like this apocalyptic feel just with all the business closed, everything's closed, and it's very strange.
Oh, totally.
And so at least when you're in the suburbs, you can like walk around and there's you just see some people walking, but it feels all that is like maybe there's just less people spending time outside,
Hmm.
but it's doesn't feel as abnormal as like as the city does.
Right. I can imagine that. It's been super weird here in the city
Hmm.
where so I did honestly the days are a complete blur. I have no clue what day, what time it is, what year, month. But
Yeah.
a little while back I was started to drive Brittany into the city to crash at a hotel on the nights that she works nights. For those who
Hmm.
don't know, my wife is a nurse. Um, and
One of
when
the
it
heroes,
one
one
of
of
the
the
heroes, yeah.
the heroes right now are nurses.
So we were driving. Uh, so let's just say it was like 2 weeks ago or whatever, driving around the city, and it was straight up like ghost town. 20 when it was it 28 days later or whatever,
Yeah,
zombified, nobody on the streets. Maybe you see a few people walking around.
yeah,
I saw less people walking around in Manhattan than I did in Queens when I
yeah.
dropped her
That
off that day.
that's interesting, right? That's what a
Yeah.
lot of people are saying is Manhattan is really a ghost town,
Now it
and
seems to be like more and more people seem to be coming out now.
in Manhattan.
Yeah, like
Oh
so
wow.
I'll still pick her up or drop her off, depending on what day it is, and I've noticed more and more people out.
I think it's just people going insane, probably that they're
Probably.
just like we can't like we're all isolating, but I guess they need to get a little like outdoors time,
Hmm.
not feel like they're in prison,
Yeah, the biggest
and
difference
just
with
yeah,
oh sorry,
no, just to get out, and
no
I
totally.
get it.
The biggest difference with the more people is that I did have noticed that there are more people wearing masks, which I think is that's maybe why more people are coming out because more
That's a
people got hold of masks, more people are taking that more seriously.
that's a good point. I mentioned this to you before. I went to a Wendy's drive-through today, and the line was insane.
Yeah.
The line for this Wendy's drive-through at 5 p.m. was like all the way wrapped around, but everyone's in a mask,
Hmm.
and they're wearing like masks and gloves, and like they're all these places, especially the chains, like because I've been to Wendy's a few days ago. I went to a Dunkin' Donuts. They have this shit down. Like like they have all these barriers, especially at Dunkin' Donuts. They have like everyone's mask, gloves, and they have a complete barrier between them and like the cash register. And I have the app, and they're able to scan it from like far away, so you really
Oh
don't have to
wow.
come close. And of course, there's like tape down, but like that only can do so much,
Hmm.
you know, because like old people like don't see that. They don't pay attention to it. Like you would have to get like one of those like fences, those like invisible fences they have for invisible dogs, like on people. Like it shocks you when you're like, hey, you're coming too close.
Right.
And then you go down to the other end, and that's where they bring all your stuff. Like I got like some donuts and coffee, and you can pick them up like at the other end. So they really, it's very contactless.
Hmm.
And I'm also like in a mask and gloves too. And it's weird, like just talking to someone when you're both wearing masks and gloves,
Yeah.
and also not mentioning it,
Right. Yeah. It's definitely
not addressing
becoming.
it.
Yeah, it's becoming more normalized. I wonder if, yeah, I wonder if it's that or if it's just how New York City is, where you could be
Yeah.
talking to some dude in a chicken suit and you just be like, well, you know, that is what it is. I'm not going to acknowledge that he's in a chicken suit, but
Yeah, it's so weird because I think a few months ago you would have thought someone, even like someone on the train, if you see someone in a mask, you're like, what's going on there?
right.
But like once we start sort of integrating back into our quote unquote normal lives, everyone's going to be wearing masks on the subway and gloves.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't know if that's going to be like a phase, or if that's going to be like the norm for like years and years to come. Like now we just start wearing masks and gloves
Right.
on the train. Or maybe like I could see like maybe the gloves thing going away. People just carry around like Purell or something.
Hmm.
But people are going to be a lot more like I think it's going to be different. Like you're not going to squeeze into a crowded subway anymore. Like would you squeeze into a crowded subway? I would just let it go now. I'd just be like, I'll catch the next one.
Yeah.
Where do I have to go that's that important? I'll be late. Whatever. Fuck it.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
That's
like
true.
I'm gonna start thinking in like perspective of like, oh, so what if I'm late for work today? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not worth it. You know,
That
it's
is
just not worth
true.
it today. So I
Yeah.
think there's gonna be a lot of stuff like that. Because you remember too, like Cuomo was saying before all this, um, before we were locked down, he's like avoid crowded subways. Or I was like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like how like it, and it's funny because like people who aren't in the city every day don't understand that,
Hmm.
because they even because I work off hours, and they'll say, oh well, you can go in, or when you go in it's probably fine. I'm like, no, it's New York, like there's always something.
Always
Like
something.
I go in at 3 o'clock, and kids are getting out of school, so there's a bunch of kids on the train,
Right.
and then there's tourists, there's all kinds of things going on.
Hmm. Yeah. There's always a lot of people. I'm curious if it's going to be maybe a generation kind of thing, where like
Mm-hmm.
the next generation are going to look at us and be like, why are you guys always like so cautious about like washing your hands constantly? Why are you guys wearing masks? Like that's weird.
Or that's possible, or it might be like this might be like the new trend. So
Maybe.
maybe like the newer generation will be like super cautious
Right. That's true.
as they're riding the subways and whatnot out and about. But like just like think about, especially like when we were in our early 20s, like how like reckless and
Oh man.
just how we didn't care. Like can you imagine like being like drunk at 3 a.m. and going on the subway and just being like, wait, gotta put on my mask and gloves. Like I don't know. I just
That
feel
is
like
true.
there, because you kind of feel, especially at that time, you feel like you could do anything.
Yeah.
And
Seriously, the dumb stuff we used to do.
yeah, that's kind of why I sort of understand where teenagers and like where people are coming from. Because I like imagine we were seeing. I feel bad for seniors in college right now, or just
Mm.
anyone in college. Can you imagine that? Like everything's just, especially seniors. Like, oh, it's cut short now.
Yeah,
Like, what? So you finish? Have they all been like finishing off doing like online classes?
that's my guess. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of kids like they won't be able to like walk for graduation and stuff like that.
And college is about the social life, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely.
So
That's a huge part of college.
that's what it is. So like the online learn that fuck it. I would just be like, you can have my diploma. I don't give a shit. Like this doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
Like this doesn't this is not what I wanted. Like I wanted
no,
to like have the life, you know?
absolutely. The thing
So
I'm
that's
finding,
gotta be a huge bummer. I do actually feel bad
yeah,
for those kids.
the thing that I'm finding, and I think I'm coming to a breaking point, is because I don't have to go out and interact with anybody. I mean, we still have some sort of Zoom meetings and stuff like that for like work or whatever, but I haven't shaved my beard or anything like that. I mean, I need a haircut real bad. I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
I'm all kinds of disaster over
Oh
here.
yeah,
So
I think I'm
um
reaching the point. I'm going to try trimming it a bit. I was looking up how to do like the more pointed one, like the ducktail. I think that's what they call it.
ducktail. I've never heard
Yeah,
of that.
I don't know, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's a V kind of thing.
Oh, like a V shape
Yeah, V
beard.
shape.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna give that a shot. It's probably not gonna work out. I'm probably just gonna start fresh. That or like maybe I'll get rid of everything except for this, and I'll do a Dutch Vanderland from Red Dead Redemption 2. And
Is that the mustache?
yeah, does the mustache and the little soul patch.
Oh, maybe I'll do that too. That could be
Yeah,
fun.
right.
That could be like a fun thing. We'll podcast and we'll have the same facial hair.
That would be hilarious.
I actually, because I keep thinking about shaving my beard, but
Hmm.
like but I always get because I usually like keep it somewhat trimmed, or I don't, you know, every so often, but like it's been a really long time now,
Hmm.
and I haven't like done anything. I've like nothing. I haven't touched it. So yeah, I'm wondering. Like I wanted to shave it off, but then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah.
And although like it'll grow back, sure, but like I don't know why I just like don't. I keep thinking, but if you do the mustache thing, I might join you for that. That
Yeah,
could be
I'll
fun.
let you
And
know.
and,
I'm
and the and the soul patch.
You're right. I'm a little apprehensive about it just because I figured this is probably my only time that I'm going to be able to just grow it out to like a disgusting length because I don't really have to see anybody. I mean, my wife has to see me and she hates it, but
Yeah, I would argue that that having, I mean, when you have a big beard, people do comment on it
hmm,
for a little bit, but then once they get used to it, it just becomes a norm.
yeah.
That's speaking from experience. But with a mustache, you get a lot more like, what are you doing? What's that? It like you feel like there's something. It feels more odd because um oh my Roku just started going out. That's so weird.
Oh,
That's
well,
very
all right.
strange. Yeah, with the mustache though, that's like it's not normal. It's
No.
not as normal. So like that actually seems like more of a risk. So that's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes, we'll
but
see.
or you could do both. Honestly, just let it grow out and then do like I'm doing. Like I might do a mustache and
I can
yeah, I don't
twirl
know.
it a little bit right now,
Oh yeah,
but
I got twirl, but
oh
like
yeah,
I don't want to do that though.
no.
I don't like that. I don't even know how that is so hard to
It's like a
do. Like get a
hipster kind of thing.
perfect mustache. I mean,
Oh, this thing is it's like sort of thin on this side, but super thick on this side. It's a
yeah,
freaking mess.
yeah. Mine's very uneven, and like and when it gets longer, like hairs just start sticking out in different directions, and
Oh
you're like,
yeah.
well, what's this? What's going on here?
What's going on here?
Yeah, it's all kinds of wacky, but I think it's something we should try.
Well, maybe we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I like it.
Next after show, we'll show up
Yeah,
with our stashes.
yeah. Maybe we'll post it online.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
All right. After show.